Gordon Ramsay has spent 2 decades building a reputation as television's angriest chef. He yells, he throws food, and he's not afraid to tell you exactly what he thinks of your cooking. He's become the face of televised cruelty in the culinary world. But there's someone that gives Gordon a run for his money: Joe Bastianich. Joe is a judge on MasterChef and has worked alongside Gordon for years. And according to contestants, he's much, much worse. Joe doesn't need to raise his voice to destroy someone. He'll taste your dish, deliver a crushing verdict, and walk away, offering no explanation or guidance, just public humiliation. But what he says isn't even about the food. He attacks your character, questions your authenticity, and makes you feel like you don't belong. And he does it with a coldness that somehow cuts deeper than any of Gordon's explosions. Fans have noticed the difference, and the more you look at Joe Bastianich's record, both on MasterChef and off the show, the clearer it becomes that the problem runs much deeper than just his judging style. Before we get into the controversies, the allegations, and what former contestants have said about him, it's worth pointing out something important. Joe isn't a chef. That might sound surprising given he's been judging cooking competitions for over a decade, but it's true. Joe never went to culinary school. He never worked his way up through restaurant kitchens. He didn't train under masters or spend years perfecting techniques. Joe Bastianich is a restaurateur and a businessman, the son of Lidia Bastianich, a legitimately famous chef and one of the world's foremost experts on Italian cuisine. Lidia built her career through decades of hard work. She immigrated to the United States from Istria, a region that's now part of Croatia but was once Yugoslavia, and clawed her way up through New York's competitive restaurant scene. She opened acclaimed restaurants, wrote cookbooks, hosted PBS cooking shows, and earned genuine respect in the culinary world. Joe grew up watching all of that, and he used it. He studied finance at Boston College, briefly worked on Wall Street, then partnered with celebrity chef Mario Batali to build a restaurant empire. The restaurants succeeded, and some of them were genuinely excellent, but Joe's role was always business, not cooking. Then in 2010, Fox came calling. They wanted him as a judge on the new American version of MasterChef. The network wanted someone who could represent the diner's perspective rather than the kitchen's, someone who could judge food as a customer, not a cook. Joe took the job, and for over a decade, he's been judging amateur cooks on skills he doesn't actually have. But this doesn't sit right with many fans. Across Reddit, the complaint is consistent: he's not even a chef. It's become the #1 criticism leveled at him. But here's the thing: Joe's lack of credentials isn't actually the problem. Plenty of non-chefs could judge food fairly and constructively. The problem is Joe himself, and the pattern of behavior he's displayed over 11 seasons. In season 1, contestant Slim Hyun presented a passion fruit fondue during a pressure test, but the dish wasn't up to scratch.
There's a lot of ginger in the sauce, right?
Yes, sir.
If we're on a date and you cook that dish for me, I'd go to the bathroom and you'd never see me again.
This was harsh, but Gordon at least tried the dish before judging it. When it came to Joe's turn, he didn't even bother tasting it.
Slim, this is like a buffet gone bad. Go back to your station. I'm not tasting this crap.
He proceeded to make an example of her, telling the group that at this point in the competition, producing something as ridiculous as this was unacceptable. Then he threw her dish into the trash. Slim stood there, stunned, as Joe walked away without another word, and the other contestants looked on in disbelief. This wasn't a one-time thing. It was his signature move. In season 3, contestant David presented a smoked lobster with roasted potatoes during a pizza stone challenge. The judges were already giving him negative feedback, but Joe used the moment as an opportunity to completely embarrass him.
I'm supposed to eat this? Really?
He took the smallest bite possible, then spent the next 20 seconds tearing David apart. Eventually, he sent him away and launched the dish into the trash.
This is the most important dish of your life, guys. You see this? This is
There was absolutely no explanation of what went wrong and no advice on how to fix it. But when Joe does bother to explain why he hates a dish, the comments get personal. In the very same episode, contestant Tanya served lamb cutlets with roasted garlic yogurt. Joe took a bite of the yogurt, then spat a garlic clove out and dropped it onto the table in front of her. He then scolded her like a teacher talking to a misbehaving child.
when you go out to eat, they give you whole cloves of raw garlic to eat.
No, chef, they don't.
You could see it in her face. She knew what was coming.
When you give us crap like that to eat, it gets to be almost kind of personally offensive. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Her eyes were watering and she looked like she was on the brink of tears, but Joe didn't give a damn.
Not only am I advising you to step up your cooking game, I'm also advising you to have a little respect.
This was tough to watch. You could tell Tanya was genuinely hurt by what he said. But an even worse example came during season 4's Agnolotti challenge. Joe's mother Lydia had demonstrated the technique, and contestant Howard admitted up front that he didn't make much Italian food. After tasting his dish, Lydia told him it was too peppery and lacked harmony.
Classics work and they're appreciated time after time. Otherwise, they wouldn't be called classics.
Of course.
Get a good connection to the basics. Don't just fly off on a wing.
Even though Lydia has the actual cooking credentials, she was gentle and instructive. But when it was Joe's turn to critique Howard's dish, he tore him apart.
I don't understand. She's been nice to you, but the whole thing with you is you have this very cavalier attitude.
Joe had it out for Howard. He thought he was lazy and undeserving of his place on the show, and so he began viciously attacking his character.
You don't know what you're cooking, what dish you're making with 10 minutes left. Then you come up here and get misty-eyed with us like, oh, poor me again, I got screwed up, and I'm getting tired of it.
Howard tried to defend himself, but Joe wasn't having any of it. He stared him down, then continued insulting him.
If you're here putting your spin on everything you make because you want to show us how cutesy and intelligent and crafty you are, well, that's going to get you a one-way ticket back to wherever you came from.
In normal life, nobody would tolerate being spoken to like this. But in the context of the show, contestants have to stand there and take it, while Joe completely humiliates them.
Only thing worse than a cook who can't boil is a narcissist in full denial. Thank you for nothing.
This wasn't about the food. It was about putting someone in their place. The difference between Joe and Gordon isn't that Gordon is nice. He's not. Gordon is blunt and insults people too, but he's less cutting and usually offers actual information about what's wrong with the food rather than just humiliating the person. With Joe, he'll taste your dish. If you're lucky, then say something brutal and walk away. Viewers online sum it up perfectly. You know you're taking things too far as a food judge when Gordon Ramsay is the nice guy. Gordon is like the strict father pushing you to do better, while Joe is the deadbeat drunk that amounts to nothing, so he has to crush your achievements. All he does is say, garbage, disappointed, annoying, and throw shit he doesn't even taste in the trash. He's describing himself at this point. You can tell even Gordon finds Joe exhausting. In season 10, contestant Dorian made wild boar sausage with garlic bread. When Joe told her that the bread cheapens the dish, Gordon clapped back.
So you don't serve garlic bread in your restaurants?
No.
Oh,
There's no such thing as garlic bread in Italy. So I think it cheapens it, it makes it less than it could be.
I disagree.
Gordon couldn't believe what he was hearing, and after offering Joe a piece of the garlic bread, he finally lost his cool.
Would you like a garlic?
No, I don't want any garlic bread.
You're such a snob.
Joe tried to laugh it off, but later, when the judges were giving their final comments on the dish, Gordon brought it up again.
It's delicious. It's you on a plate, and the garlic bread, I absolutely love.
I'm glad you love it.
Love the garlic bread.
Despite him rubbing fans and even his fellow judges the wrong way, Joe is still on the show today, still dismissive, still cold, and still making contestants feel worthless. But the meanness is just the beginning, because the more you look at his comments over the years, a disturbing pattern emerges. In season 4, contestant Bimi auditioned with mofongo, a traditional Puerto Rican dish made with fried plantains. He explained that it was something he made for his daughters, and that to them, he was the world's greatest chef.
My name is Abimael Cruz Reyes Rivera Gonzalez Tercero III. You can call me Bimi. Now I'm cooking for you guys as a traditional Puerto Rican dish, mofongo con camarones.
Gordon and Graham loved Bimi's energy. While they didn't think the dish was perfect, they liked it and saw real potential in him. But when it came time for the judges to make their decision, Joe had a different take.
Is this really a Caribbean dish or just kind of like shrimp scampi faked with some plantain put in it?
The implication was clear. Caribbean food is just Italian-American food with plantains added, as if mofongo, a dish with centuries of history, is somehow derivative of shrimp scampi. Joe gave Bimi a no, but thankfully, Gordon and Graham put him through anyway. The truth is, Joe has a consistent pattern of suggesting that non-European food can only be good if it's made to seem European. In season 12, Christine Ha, the blind chef who won season 3, returned as a guest judge for a Vietnamese cuisine challenge. Contestant Dara made a rice porridge with seared duck breast and sautéed morning glory. Christine loved it. Aaron was shocked by the flavor, but Joe's compliment revealed his bias.
What you did is take Vietnamese flavors and techniques and somehow manipulated them into seeming like it's a European Michelin-starred dish.
Manipulated them into seeming European, as if the only way Vietnamese food can be elevated is by making it less Vietnamese. This wasn't the first time Joe made this kind of comment. Years earlier, during Christine Ha's own season, the signs were already there. Christine Ha made history as the first blind contestant on MasterChef. She navigated the kitchen through touch, taste, smell, and years of practice, and she made it all the way to the finale against contestant Josh. But Joe didn't believe she belonged there. During a team challenge at Hatfield's restaurant, a Michelin-starred establishment in Los Angeles, the contestants were deciding who should handle which station. When Graham suggested Christine could finish dishes at the end, Joe immediately shut it down.
Where would you put her in a situation like this?
I would have her at the end finishing a dish.
Definitely co-check room.
No, come on.
Gordon tried to make Joe see reason, but the explanation Joe gave for his comment made it clear he was beyond hope.
She can't see that.
You seen how she puts food on the plate?
Yeah, this is a live kitchen, Michelin-starred restaurant. She can't do it. She's a liability.
No.
Despite his reservations, Christine's team won the challenge, and Joe later admitted he was wrong. But when the finale arrived, his doubts resurfaced. This time, not about her ability, but about her food. For the final challenge, both contestants prepared 3-course menus. Josh's menu leaned on European techniques: butter poached lobster, green curry rack of lamb, and bacon pecan pie. Christine's menu showcased her Vietnamese-American heritage: Thai papaya salad, braised pork belly caramelized in coconut soda and fish sauce, and coconut lime sorbet with a ginger twill cookie. When it came time to compare the two menus, Joe made his bias crystal clear.
You have starred European restaurant food versus hawker stand street food.
Christine won the competition anyway. Her skill was undeniable. But Joe's comment exposed the way he views non-European cuisines as inherently less refined, less professional, and less worthy of respect. If Joe's behavior ended with what we saw on MasterChef, that would be bad enough. But off the show, his record is even worse. Joe Bastianich spent 2 decades building a restaurant empire with celebrity chef Mario Batali. Together, they owned over 20 restaurants across New York, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, and beyond. They were business partners and friends, and they created a workplace culture that was toxic and abusive. In 2017, at the height of the Me Too movement, multiple women came forward with allegations of sexual harassment and assault against Mario Batali. The stories were horrifying: groping, unwanted touching, explicit comments, and a pattern of predatory behavior that had gone unchecked for years. But this wasn't just about Batali. In July 2021, the New York Attorney General announced a settlement involving Mario Batali, Joe Bastianich, and their company Batali and Bastianich Hospitality Group.
A settlement has been reached in the sexual harassment and discrimination case at restaurants owned by famed chef Mario Batali and Joe Bastianich. The celebrity chef and Bastianich will have to pay a $600,000 settlement to at least 20 former employees. An investigation by the New York State Attorney General found the culture of widespread sexual harassment and retaliation at the Batali and Bastianich Hospitality Group.
The investigation found that between 2016 and 2019, employees at Babbo, Lupa, and Del Posto were subjected to unwanted sexual advances, inappropriate touching, and sexually explicit comments from managers and co-workers. Female employees were forcibly groped, hugged, and kissed by male colleagues. Allegedly, Batali himself sexually harassed a server by grabbing her hand and pulling it toward his crotch. Women reported being called little girl and sensitive in front of customers. They were told to wear makeup or get breast implants. Male employees were favored for promotions, and when women complained, management ignored them or blamed the victims. New York Attorney General Letitia James was clear in her assessment. Batali and Bastianich permitted an intolerable work environment and allowed shameful behavior that is inappropriate in any setting. Joe's defense was simple: he didn't know. He claimed he never heard about the allegations against Batali until the news broke in 2017, but that story doesn't hold up. In interviews, Joe admitted he had heard Batali say inappropriate things to staff. He told Eater that he should have done more to call his partner out. Former employees also alleged that Joe himself had sleazy behavior, flirting with female staff and making them uncomfortable. Joe denied these claims, saying he was just trying to be friendly. Whether or not Joe was directly involved in harassment, one thing is certain: he was in charge. He co-owned the restaurants. He benefited financially from the business. And for years, he allowed a culture where where women were harassed, demeaned, and silenced. The settlement didn't just hold Batali accountable, it held Joe accountable too. His signature is on the agreement. The company paid $600,000, and Joe was held legally responsible for the culture he helped create. Just 1 month after the Batali allegations broke in 2017, Joe found himself in hot water again, this time for racist comments on MasterChef Italia. In a January 2018 episode, Joe visited a nail salon in Milan's Chinatown. While getting a manicure and pedicure, he repeatedly corrected the employee's pronunciation of Italian words. Then he asked one of the women if she'd ever dated an Italian man, before going on to criticize Chinese men.
Gli uomini cinesi hanno un po' di difetti, a volte sono un po' curti, sono non adeguati in certe situazioni.
Making a comment like that about an entire race was outrageous, and combined with his repeated dismissal of Asian cuisine on MasterChef US, it revealed something deeper. When the clip went viral, Joe issued an apology, claiming it was a scripted segment and that he knew the women. But the damage was done. MasterChef contestant Paulina Farrow, who had competed on season 4 of the US version, tweeted, "Not surprised by this. As a finalist on MasterChef, Joe Bastianich called my Filipino dish bad Chinese food." The pattern was clear. Dismissive comments about non-European cuisines on MasterChef US, racist remarks about Chinese men on Italian television, and a workplace culture that enabled harassment and discrimination. This wasn't just one bad moment. This is who Joe Bastianich has shown himself to be, over and over again. In 2019, Joe and his sister bought Batali out of the hospitality business entirely. The company was renamed from Batali and Bastianich Hospitality Group to Pasta Resources. Joe told the New York Times that the past few years have truly been a transformative period, and that it was an opportunity to redefine the business and the culture. Meanwhile, his television career continued without interruption. Joe is still on MasterChef, judging contestants and dismissing their food with the same cutting remarks. He continues to benefit from the fame he built alongside a man who was accused of sexual harassment by multiple employees. And to this day, he's still presented as an authority worth listening to. When you add everything up, it's clear there's no real comparison between Joe Bastianich and Gordon Ramsay. Gordon has never treated foreign cuisines as inferior, he's never made racist comments on television, and he's never signed a sexual harassment settlement. Joe has done all of those things, not to mention the fact he called Christine Ha a liability for being blind. It's a surprise he's still doing as well as he is, but he wouldn't be the first person with a troubling record to face no real consequences, and he definitely won't be the last.